Um, it's on recording, so anyone can go back and have access. There are two things we'll do today. Okay, just to kind of refresh our memory. The first one is to take us through the technique of how um, to apply for job for BA. We've been the last 10 weeks we've gone through everything that we need to do. Like I mentioned last week or so, if you are confident, then I say start applying for jobs. You will not win a lotto if you do not play one. And I have seen many people who are not as experienced or who don't know what you guys know, what I've taught you, and they've gotten a job. So there's no harms in trying. However, there are things that you have to be strategic in applying for jobs. Okay. The first thing I'm going to tell you is for those of you who already have your CV, Yetunde, apologies. I'll try and revert with your CV. It looked good, but I'm just going to update one or two things, hopefully today. It's
All
been
right.
a
Thank you.
7 week work perspective, so I'll try and revert today. So, first thing I want to take you guys through today is what I refer to as LinkedIn. So, the first thing, like I mentioned, is what I refer to as LinkedIn optimizations. Okay. And what I found out, seven or let's say out of 7 or 8 out of 10 recruiters will check you out on LinkedIn. And over the last 3 years, in the last 3 roles, I've gotten two of those roles on LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn, someone just reach out to me on LinkedIn and we'll take it further. So there are more opportunity for you to get something from LinkedIn, and for you to be able to maximize and to explore the opportunities, you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Okay. Um, this guys is one of my candidates. He taught I taught him last year. Um, he's now a senior reporting analyst now. He's doing very well. I admire the way he's leveraging on LinkedIn. He's a very good guy. So now, what are the things you need to do? Once your CV is well optimized, if I've approved your CV, can I ask you that just come to LinkedIn, everything that you have on your CV, both your job experience, everything, that is what you should populate on your LinkedIn. Nothing should change because you don't want a recruiter to find you out or to look for you on LinkedIn and they are seeing some discrepancy from what you have in your profile and the one that you have on LinkedIn. You know, that doesn't speak well of you. So, whatever you have on your CV that I've approved, I've asked you to go ahead and start using to apply, then that is the just populate that on your LinkedIn. Nothing, don't change anything. Now, there's a question someone asked that I always get, my candidate always asks me about. Um, how, what happens if they, I'm always, people always ask me, what happens if they currently have an existing LinkedIn? Okay, maybe you're a registered nurse or anything or something else, you have your LinkedIn. My answer is this. There are two things. You only have two options. The first option is you have to discard your existing, as in the existing LinkedIn profile that you have, just change it, use change your profile to BA. So if you have your let's say register nurse, change it to BA. Nothing, because your objective is to secure a BA job. So that's what you should always aim for towards. Secondly, the second option is maybe that your existing profile is well reached, well optimized, everything, and you don't want to lose it. Then I say that add or create a new LinkedIn profile so that you are starting afresh. Now, when you create a new profile, there's something we call, now that means you have two profiles. So when an employer go and they search for your name, there is likelihood that they will see the two profiles, and that will be confusing. To guard against that, I will recommend, so let's assume this is my old profile, the one, and you want to create a new one. My name is Kabir. I would rather change, instead of Kabir, I can just say KB. Then instead of Akinola, I can just say Akin, because that is the old profile is the one you want to make invisible to recruiters. Then the new profile that you're creating, you write your name in full, which is going to be Kabir Akinola. Sorry, can I get if that is clear?
Yes, but what if we decide to edit the old LinkedIn to the new?
Yeah, so that's fine. If you are editing the old LinkedIn, that's no issues. If you are editing the old LinkedIn that you have, I'm just saying that if you don't want to edit the old one, you still want to keep it, and you are creating another one, you cannot keep the two names. So you have to change one name and just keep the new one that you just created to the name that you want to make visible. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, another thing, the fact that you have a LinkedIn profile does not mean that that is to your advantage. If you have a LinkedIn profile and you only have about 10 or 15 or 20 connections, friends on your LinkedIn profile, that's disadvantageous to you. If I'm a recruiter and I check your profile and I only see that you only have 20 or 30 people and you've not posted the last two or 3 or 4 years, how do you want to prove to me that you're a professional and you're not engaging on LinkedIn? Okay, so I have two strategies that I always tell people to use. The first strategy is, before you even start applying, once you have your LinkedIn, the profile, everything is there, I need you to grow your LinkedIn connections. Okay, grow your LinkedIn connection to, God knows, maybe I always say minimum of 100. That's my recommendations. Okay, grow your LinkedIn connection to minimum of 100. Okay, now the question is, how do you do that? Just go to your network here. First strategy, as you can see, I will just look at, oh, these guys, let me just look at someone just randomly. You have to be strategic. Oh, okay, these guys, if you want to, okay, like this guy, I went to Edinburgh University in the UK. So I'm just going to start sending them connections. Look at people randomly that you can just send connection to, send connection to them. On a daily basis, I will send like 50 connections. I was told that it looked like per week now, you cannot send more than 100 connections. That was not the case before, but now I think you can only send about, before you can send unlimited, but now you can't send more than 100 connections. So this week, if you send 100 connections, you're likely to get about 30 or 40 that will come back and just accept you. So as you can see, I'm just looking at those that will match. Okay, we went to the same schools. Just send as much as you can send. If you do that for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're likely to get, almost about your 100, because before you start applying, you need to have my recommendations, minimum of 100 connections. If you have about 30, 40, 50, recruiters come to you, okay, and they see that, oh, what is this guy? You only have about 20. God, the recruiter will just know that, no, 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 no. Who are you? How come will you say you have over 40 years of experience and you only have about, or you have over 5 years of experience and you only have about 2 or 3, you only have about 20 20 connections. So send the connection like this. Before end of today, some of this one that I just sent connection to, they will come back with me, and that's it. That's strategy one. Are we clear about that? That is how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. The second strategy you need to use, like I said, a recruiter will not be happy when they come, apart from they see that you only have very limited or little connections, that you are not even either adding to any post, you are not creating a post, you are not doing anything. You need to create visibility. And how do you do that? Like this guy now, you just put this, please just go there and just either say this, or alternatively, just write something. What say, doctor? You don't need to just go there. If you see anyone again that's written something wonderful like this one, even though I don't even know, there's no harm in you just giving it a thumb up. Okay? Asana, this today are successful days. Just go there and say congrats. Okay? That is how you create visibility for your profile on LinkedIn. Any questions?
Okay, yeah, KB.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my own is as much as possible, I want to see how I can leverage and do some form of tailoring on my LinkedIn profile to suit the BA role. Like I have over 500 connection on LinkedIn, and I do a lot of engagement on LinkedIn. What I wanted to do, looking at my experience and what I do, I see I can be able to do tailoring from say 2020 and above to date in terms of BA role. I started BA role in 2020 to date. So the confirmation I want, clarification I want from you is from 2020 to date okay as a role of BA and leaving my previous as PM?
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Your previous experience as PM will count, so that's good because PM and BA are interrelated. So yeah, that's okay.
All right, thank you very much.
I have a question. Sorry, I have a question, please. The people we are connecting with, do they have to be in the same profession?
No. Who cares if they are in the same profession? If you see people that are in your professions, good, go for it. Connect with them. Okay? But
all right, thank you.
Yeah, if not, just connect with people. Okay. Anything, are we clear about LinkedIn? Do we have any issues? So three things we discussed about LinkedIn now. The first one, if you currently have a LinkedIn profile, you have two options. Is either you keep that profile and you just add you just add your BA job roles experience to it to make it look like you're a BA. Alternatively, which is not something I will recommend that. The second option for you is, okay, keep your old profile, then go to open a new one, but just make sure that the two names on the two LinkedIn profiles are not matching. You have to, make them different. Then secondly, while I said that it doesn't make sense that you say you have 4 or 5 years of B experience, and I come to your LinkedIn profile and I'm seeing just about 30 or 40 connections. It says you are either unserious or you are not who you are in terms of experience. So, and how do you mitigate that? Come to your network, just look at people, just start people that you can think of, all these people like this, start connecting with them. Okay. Talents, just connect with as many as you can connect. Okay. Graduate endpoints. Okay. I studied in Edinburgh, Napier, so that's good. I can connect with all of these guys. Just connect with until you have about minimum of 100 connections. That's when you think, okay, you're good. That's number one. The second thing I said was that you also need to create some level of visibility. Okay. And how do you do that? As I mentioned that these guys, one of my first students is doing very well now. So as you can see now, he's creating so much visibility for himself. Apart from that, he will always post regularly. Okay. If I need to, I can just come here as I just did, add thumb up, If I need to add a comment, I'll just add a comment to it. Come around and see other things, what they are doing, like this lady, she just defended her doctorate. That's something interesting. Go there, either give a thumb up or say congratulations and stuff. And, don't be afraid to also post. Just think of a topic, how to, maybe you want Scrum. You want to do Scrum ceremonies. If you are not comfortable writing it, go and use ChatGPT, write Scrum ceremony and everything. I can tell you this guy, all what is he has written here, he uses ChatGPT. Go and write about Scrum ceremony, how you have used Scrum ceremony to improve the efficiency and value of your project teams. Okay, write it and just put it there. Tag people. As you can see, that's how to create visibility, and you start to get noticed not only by your connects but also by recruiters. This guy, the current role he is, I did this in reference about 2 months ago. The recruiter contacted him on LinkedIn because he has built so much visibility on LinkedIn. Okay. Any questions about LinkedIn optimization, please? Okay. So if there is none, we move to the second things I want us to talk about today. Now, we're assuming you have your we're assuming you have your we're assuming your this thing is ready, your CV is ready. We're also assuming that you already have your LinkedIn well optimized. Then the next thing is for you to start applying for jobs. Now, bear in mind, you need to be strategic in how you apply for jobs. Okay, I've seen someone who just finished training. She applied for a job. The first job she got was $750 per day. A luck shine on her. But you need to be, cognizant of whom you are, your level of experience. The market is very tight nowadays. So you cannot be competing with experienced people. Imagine if me and you, for instance, we have to do an interview. Yeah, luck can smile on you, but the reality is just that they will know that someone is more experienced than the other. So, and how do we explore that? So, and again, for those of you in the UK, my understanding is Glassdoor and Indeed are the most popular 2 platforms at which you apply. So the same thing, continue to use that. But in Australia, I would gladly recommend you Seek to Seek. You get the chances of you getting a job in Seek is more. Now, You can also get job. LinkedIn also allow you to apply for jobs. As you can see, jobs. The only thing I found with LinkedIn jobs is just that, imagine if you see something like this, uh, more than, you will even see that more than about 50 people has already applied, because people, jobs here, people, jobs that are being advertised on LinkedIn are being advertised for professionals, people with years of experience. So it's highly competitive. So I don't even apply for jobs on LinkedIn. I rather stick to my profile, my seek, which has proven to be a blessing for me. So once the same CV that you have, the same thing you did on your for your on your LinkedIn profile, do the same thing. Create your profile here. You see, this is how to create. Just come to your profile, put all necessary things, everything that you have on your CV. As you can see, the same personal summary, put it there. This, put it there. Everything that you have on your CV, just put it there. Then once you have it, you can now start applying for jobs. Okay. If there's need for you to edit, you can edit if there's need for you to edit. So that shouldn't be a problem. Now, strategy for applying for jobs. Once you have your profile is there. How do you apply for jobs? Now, if you come to job search, business analyst, leave classifications, wherever you are, I'm going to put Melbourne. That's where I am, and I'm putting Melbourne, Victoria. Okay, search. It comes with all jobs. Okay. Now, I need to mention something here. When you're applying for jobs here, I need you to be specific and to be careful. There are some jobs I will not be encouraging you to apply for. When you see jobs of data analysis, anything that has to do with data, anything that has to do with reporting, anything that has to do with SQL, that has to do with API, don't apply for those jobs. I didn't teach you. Those are technical business analyst jobs, and I didn't teach you. I teach you pure functional business analysis. That was what I taught you. So how do you know? If you want to look at this, people data analysis, I will not go there because it's clearly stated data. Even me myself, sometimes ago, I did a role in data. I ran out. I had to quit. I could not cope. So I won't allow you, I will not encourage you to go anything data. Just something like this, business analyst. Now, how will you know if this is the job you can do? If you click on it, if you see the things that you've done, like stakeholder analysis, writing user stories, doing Scrum ceremonies, gap analysis, things that I taught you, that is what you should focus on and you should apply. Those are the kind of job you should be applying. Okay? Like, I will be applying for this, supporting the creation of dashboard across branch. Yeah, it's still good. You can apply for this. Okay? See, I won't. Except if you think you're good in Excel, advanced Excel experience, pivot table, VLOOKUP. I will not apply for this because my Excel skill set is not at advanced stage. It's still just at intermediate. So I will not apply for this. And this is why you have to take your time to read all of these things before you start applying. Don't just be applying blindly. Don't apply for something you cannot do. So I'll pass. Let's go for this as well. So, okay, this thing. analysis, operation requirement problems. Yep, I think you can apply for this. Tools, work with stakeholders to identify benefits, option for consideration, acceptance testing. You see, I taught you on how to write UAT. Okay, so integrate agile approach. These are the kind of job you should be. You see, gather, document, analyze requirements. So these are the kind of job you should be applying for. Again, I also like to mention again, please be considerate of your experience. Any job above 120, don't apply for it. Any job above 120, don't apply for it, because they are looking for not only senior role, they are looking for people that can lead, people with years of experience. That's not where you should start. If you look for jobs, even if you see junior business analysts between 80 to 900,000, apply for it. But when you see this one is still okay, 101 to 107 to 112, that's still bad, that's still good. But when you see 120 or daily rate of 800, 900, pass. You can try your luck, but I'm not going to encourage you to do it. So, yeah, 606 per day. This is still better. You can apply for 602. Brisbane. Okay. Process testing. Okay. I'm going to be looking at. This is good. Agile, requirement gathering, modeling, stakeholder management, use case, user story for future state business processing. So you can apply for this. Are you guys, are we getting along on what we can do and how to apply for jobs here?
Yes, we're.
Okay. Now you see, solution architects, don't go near all of these things. So just be strategic in what you apply. Now, what is this? Sorry. Let's look at Brisbane for those in Brisbane. Okay, business analyst 80 to 90. Okay. For government and defense, except if you're an Australian citizen, they won't even take you. Just look at it. If they suit you, what you're looking for, okay? 3 years qualification, Prince 2, Babcock, Agile. Don't worry about all those things. So each analyzing, document current future state. This is gap analysis, write business specification, high-level requirements, aid in development design, solution design documentation. So you can apply for this. Now, another things that I would also like to encourage you. When you are applying for jobs, look at this. This apply. There are two ways to apply. There is quick apply. If you look at this one is likely to be quick apply. Okay, quick apply. What this means is within, if I want to apply for this now, within 1 minute or so, I can finish this application. See, it will already have, it will populate my CV, my cover letter and everything will be populated. Continue. See, everything is populated. Continue. And I'll submit. That's it. I'm done. Now, trust me, for people like me, And this is one thing I've seen with the experienced guys as well. Anyone that is not a quick apply, because I don't have time to spend 30 minutes on applying for one job. So this job now, this one that is apply, if you need to apply for this one, you will spend about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Because look at it, you have to do everything one after the other. So what I've seen is the experienced guys will never, hardly will apply for something, all of these jobs. So what that is telling you is, for someone like you who just wants to break into the industry, you don't have that options. You don't have a choice. So these are the kind of job I will be applying for. Again, another thing is, for this job, you are like, it's 95%. I'm certain that 95% of this kind of jobs, they are handled by internal recruiter. So like this company, it is their HR guys that is doing this recruitment. This kind of jobs, they are likely to give new entrants. They will be more focused, do their onboarding very well. So these are the kind of job you should be applying for. However, this job, this one that I've just applied for, as you can see, Lime Recruitment, they are recruitment agencies. Those guys, they are just after their money. So believe me, apart from people that will apply for it, they are likely to be candidates with years of experience. The recruiter again, they don't have time to look at all the application they've got. They can just look at 4, 5, see 2 that they think is likely to be the best, and they will go ahead with it. So focus more in applying. As you can see, be an early applicant. I won't be surprised if no one has even applied for this job. I won't be surprised. So take that on board. If you are applying, put emphasis on applying for jobs with this apply, not the quick one. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that's all on us applying for jobs. Nothing I need to add. So as you can see, this is another quick one. Just glance through what they need to do. Okay. Let me add this again. Something that I found out recently is this. When you're creating your, let's assume I want to apply for this job. Okay, and this is my profile. This is my profile. For me to stand a better chance of being shortlisted, do you know what I'll do? I'll just look at the essential or the job requirements here. I can just come here, okay? Let me take like 4 or 5 of these job requirements. I'm just going to copy it. Copy it, go to my profile and edit. Let's say this is when I'm in the senior business distance here, and just go there, add it as part of what my job roles and responsibility are here. However, you don't want to do copy and paste directly. Okay, if I do it, I copy it, I want to make sure that at least I had subtract 1 or 2 things from there, because you don't want to do copy and paste. Why do we need to do that? I found out that recently there's something we call ATS, application test something. I've forgotten the full name. So what they will do, some recruiters will just say, okay, this is your CV. There's a system that will just scan your CV against their job descriptions here. If your CV do not match at least 50% or let's say 60% threshold, that means you will not be shortlisted for that job. Hence, if you've just collected, if you add all the job descriptions here, everything here, you copy it, go and add it to your profile here. Remember, if you do that and you do some 1 or 2 adjustments so that you're not just doing direct copy and paste, just add 1 or 2 things so that it does not look like you're just copying and pasting here. If that is the case, and they now go ahead, this recruiter now use ATS to match it, what do you think will be in your number? You're likely to be in about 65 or 70%. That means you are in a better position to be shortlisted for that job. So I will also recommend that it's tedious. I have to be honest, it's not something I can do, but you need to know that applying for jobs is a full-time job for you. It's full-time. There are no two ways about it. So then if you do that, because you have your CV here, you need to do the same thing on your CV. Okay, this is your CV. If you click on Manage CV, you can, this is the current CV that I have. I can download it. So if I download my CV will be downloaded. Then I can do that. Just want to copy, go there and just make it, add it, what you've copied, so that it's the same thing from what you did on your profile. So that is that. And again, the downside of it is if you want to apply for another job, you have to do the same thing. Okay? I said it's a full-time job. It is what you need to do. Any questions about that?
I just want to ask, this using ChatGPT, is there any way they can detect? Like you said, there is a software they can use to detect if you copy from there.
So, are you saying if you use, let's for instance, I've just copied, and this is what I'm going to do, ChatGPT. I don't want to do direct copy. I'll just go to my ChatGPT. Say, you need to learn how to use ChatGPT. The best way to use ChatGPT is, we call it prompt. So, okay, what I've copied, I'm just going to say, rewrite this in a bullet point to be added into a business analyst CV. Okay, and I'm going. You see, ChatGPT is doing the job for you. Okay, and if that is the case, copy it. To answer your questions, as far as I'm concerned, no one will be able to, it can't detect. What I know is the ATS is meant to know if your job, your experience matches what they currently, if this your experience, what you've done in the past, does it matches what they are looking for? So that's what. So I'm
Maybe.
going to copy it. Yep.
Are you saying if like 10 people does the same thing with ChatGPT, it's going to give us like 10 different responses?
It would. It would. ChatGPT will give you 10 different responses.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll
yes,
just,
I think what we need to understand here is the way you are going to ask is going to be different from the way Yetunde and myself going to ask. Do you get it? So that's it.
Yeah.
As much as possible, using ChatGPT is try and capture the questions very well. If you capture it, you send it, it will give you the right thing you want. Yeah.
So that's why the ChatGPT is different from other search engines. ChatGPT is about prompts. So if this now, okay, if you look at this, let me use another prompt. Oh, I want you to write. I want you to write job responsibility of a BA using these scenarios. You see? You see the difference? So it is all about how you're able to prompt ChatGPT to give you the response. Now, I'd like to make some observations. You know, when you're applying for jobs, please be mindful of your expectations. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. Last year, I was in the market. My last role ended, I think it was in May. Okay. And I've been applying even before that role ended, like 3 weeks before then, when I knew that my contract will not be renewed. I've been applying. Every day, I will apply for nothing less than 20 applications every day. From that May till ending of June, all the applications that I was sending out, everyone, they kept rejecting me. Rejection letter, unsuccessful, we cannot proceed with your distance, and blah, 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 everything. Okay. When I get one rejections, I responded with like 4 or 5 applications. Ending of June, don't forget what I said, rejections. I was not even getting interview. And you're talking of me with the experience, local experience and everything. I wasn't getting interview. When it was end of June, I got one interview. And that interview, they offered me a role. I got the role. 2 days or a day after I got that role, another interview came. Reluctantly, I said, I already got a role. Why do I need to? But because the recruiter was very persistent, I went ahead with that interview and they liked me. That moment, they wanted to schedule me for second round of interview. And I told them to say, hey, guys, I can't do second round interview because I have an offer. If you want me to go ahead, give me an offer and I will just look at it. So the following day, they came back, they gave me offer. I think 2 days again, another interview came. But within a week, what do I want to bring out of it? Within a week, I had 3 interviews and I got 2 offers. Within a week. Meanwhile, prior to that time, for almost 3 months, no interview even came up. What moral lesson am I trying to come out of here? You have to be persistent. You have to be patient. And you are talking about me with a very good experience, local experience. I know the markets, I know everything, and look at what I experienced. What I want to bring out of that little story is that you have to be patient. I have seen people who have taken this course. When I try to check on 1 or 2 of them, when I start asking them, some of them have gone back to their old work, disabilities and everything. When I ask them, because, will try to apply after like a month, 2 months, we're not getting, and they get discouraged. Fine. But all I can tell you, everybody that I have trained, they've gotten jobs, they suffered initially. And do not expect anything less. And I'm encouraging you, don't be discouraged. Don't let unsuccessful messages, email or even the interview, don't let it discourage you. Keep forging ahead. Keep going. You only need one breakthrough. The moment you break through, forget about it. Jobs will be queuing for you. But that breakthrough is so difficult and you will suffer, and apologies. But be persistent. Again, what I've realized, and I'm telling you based on experience, there are 3 phases that you will encounter when you are doing these job applications. The first phase, if you start now, probably for the first 2 or 3 weeks, you start applying for jobs. No one will even say, oh, you're successful. No one will even get back to you. You keep receiving unsuccessful email. That's phase 1. Don't worry about it. It's part of the experience. I went through it, and everyone that have secured a job, they've gone through it as well. And I don't think you will be an exception. The second phase, maybe after that 3 weeks, that is when excuse me, recruiter will now start taking notice of your job, of your applications. So recruiters will come. Yesterday, we've seen your jobs, we've seen your applications. They would like to know, why are you in the market? Are you still in the market? What are you doing currently? Blah, blah, blah. We call it phone interview. When you do that phone interview, they will even ask you, what's your daily expectation? What's your rate expectations and everything? You'll be thinking you've gotten a job. I remember holding this that time. I'll be thinking, they've asked for my job. I'll just tell them this amount. But if you're lucky, if 6 out of 6 recruiters ask you that question, if you're lucky, only one will come back to you. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Do that. The third one, phase is, okay, maybe after another 2 or 3 weeks of when you've been going through the second phase where you're getting phone interview, and Lucky starts smiling on you, you now start being shortlisted for an interview, proper interview, either face-to-face or online. That is when you should start getting, ready, because you're getting there. Now, when that happens, my experience is that you will do at least minimum of 4 or 5 interviews before you even stand a better chance of securing one, except in very rare occasions. I think I did about 7 or 8 interviews. And people that have gotten jobs, I think the minimum is 5. Okay, so when you do one interview today, they'll come back to say you're unsuccessful. Don't be discouraged. My advice, use that interview that you've done today, that they've come back to say you are not successful, use it as a planning to plan for the next interview. And how do you do that? Start asking yourself, what were the questions they asked you in the interview you just concluded today? How did you respond? What are the things you should have said better? If that same question comes up in your next interview, how will you respond, answer that question much better? And that's how to prepare for it. The more interview you do, the more confidence you get. Okay? I remember my first few interview, when they say the interview is, if I have interview 2 days, I will lock myself in my office as if I was writing and preparing for JAMB. Apprehensions. My heart will be, I will not even be able to sleep. But at some points, after like doing like 4, 5, 6 interview, if I have interview tomorrow, I don't need to read because I'm confident, I know what I need to say, and that is what you also get there. So the third phase, use your last interview to prepare for the next interview. Now, I mentioned something earlier on about recruiters coming for. I like to tell this so that you will be able to manage your expectations. That recruiters coming to do phone interview with you. Now, this is how it happens. 85, if not more than, of jobs applications or roles that are being advertised in Australia, and I think the same thing even in the UK, are being advertised by recruiters. So high chances that recruiters will contact you more is very high. So let's assume I am Tech Pro and I'm looking for a BA. Okay, I will contact Yetunde. You are a recruiter. You work for recruitment A. Oyin, you work for recruitment B. BC, you work for recruitment C. Amina, you work for recruitment D. I will contact 4 of you. Imagine 4 of you for one person that I'm looking for. Yetunde will go ahead, put the applications in any job seeking platform, maybe Seek, Indeed, everything. Maybe at the end, Yetunde, who is working for recruitment A, now receive about, let's say, 10 applicants. Out of those 10 applicants, Yetunde will shortlist about 3 to say, oh, these are the best 3. Meanwhile, out of those 3, when Yetunde shortlists those 3, Yetunde will now call those 3 that she has shortlisted. That is when the initial phone interview takes place. To say, oh, we want to know. What are the questions they will ask? Why are you in the market? Can you tell us what you've done related to what they are looking for and blah, blah, blah. That questions will come. So if she's happy with you, she will present those 3 to me. Or you will do the same thing. She will present 3 or 4 or 2 to me. Same BC and Amina. So at the end of it, maybe the 4 of you, I have 10 CV and I'm looking for just 1. You see that if you are now Yetunde's, out of the 3 candidates from Yetunde, if Yetunde has reached out to you to say, oh, are you happy for us to present this, blah, blah, and you say yes, Yetunde has presented to you and the other 2. If I now come back to say, oh, Yetunde, out of the 3 that you've presented to me, sorry, I cannot go ahead with interview with any one of them. You see why recruiters are likely not to come back. If Yetunde is a very good recruiter with a very human-centric approach, the expectation is Yetunde will reach out to you to say, hey, Kabir, sorry, I presented your CV to the client, but the client is not ready to proceed with your application. But only 1 out of 10 will reach out back to you to let you know. So that is why you see recruiters coming with the initial phone interview and they will not get back to you. It's not their fault. Okay, out of the 10 that I have received now, I now shortlist, let's say 4. Those 4 are the one I will now do interview for. So that is why you also eventually do interview, you will not be their preferred candidates. And out of the 4, maybe I saw 1 and you're not part of those 1, they will come back to say today, thanks for interviewing with us, but we're not proceeding with you. That is the process, how it works. Any questions? Any questions, guys? Okay. Now, one question that are often being asked when you are doing phone interview is what is your expected either daily rate or annual rate. For Australia, I don't think that should be a problem because I always say that if they ask you that questions, if you know the job that you've applied for and you know the amount, go ahead and just tell them the rate. But it's very difficult. You're applying for more than 100. How do you want to keep in mind to know which is this, is that? So there are two ways. When that question comes, is either you put it down to say, hey, are you able to just tell me the range that your client is willing to pay? Okay, that's a perfect answer. But some recruiters might still insist for you to give them your rate. In that case, I'll just give them a random range. Now, I have told you now that I'm not expecting you to be applying for any job between more than 120. So if I want to do that, I'll say between 100 to 120, which is a realistic rate for someone between 3 to 4 years of experience. Now, one thing I have seen, especially in Australia, is let's assume that particular role is 130 and you have mentioned 120 as your highest rate. Australians are very, very trustworthy. They will still tell you that actually the role is 130, so they will not surcharge you. So it's better for you to say something lower than to say something higher. Now, this is it. If you say, when they ask you that question and you say, oh, it's 120, and that role is 110, subconsciously to the recruiter, you are saying that your rate, your current rate, your value is 120. If you now want to say, oh, if they now tell you that it's 110 and you now want to say, oh, I will manage it, the recruiter will know that you just want to manage it because you are desperate. It is not what your value is. So if you see a better value, a better rate, you will go. So you see why you should always say something. It's better for you to say something lower than to say something higher. Is that clear again?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we move to, we're assuming here your CV is ready. You've your LinkedIn is well optimized. You've applied for jobs. You've done your phone interview. You've been scheduled for an online or physical interview. Now, how do you apply? How do you respond to these questions to interview? In Australia, UK, and Canada, we call something behavioral interview questions and answer. Okay? The strategy we use is called, what we call it, STAR technique. What is STAR technique? Situations, task, actions, and results. And I'll go in details. When an interviewer asks you questions, they're not asking you questions to tell them what you will do if you are in that situation. Interviewer wants to know how you have done or what you've done in that situation in the past, in your past or current role. So when they ask you if you are in your current job and there's a situation where you have to manage stakeholders, how do you do it? Okay, that was the interview question, the question the interviewer asked you. The expectation is, oh, if I'm faced with that situation, I will make sure I talk to the interviewer. I will do this. I will make sure I listen carefully to the interviewer, which is what you and I will say. That is not how interviews are to be responded, or how you are meant to respond to an interview questions. You're meant to use what we call a STAR technique to answer that questions. And what does STAR techniques entails? It allows you to say, okay, in the past, when I have faced this or similar situations, these are how I've been able to deal with that situations and the results that I'm going to let us go through 2 or 3 interview questions. These 6 interview questions, behavioral interview questions, I recommend you, before you go for an interview, simulate and have answer for these 6 questions. I can bet you that you will always 3 minimum will come out of. They will ask 3 from these 6 questions. So please always simulate these 6 questions. Very, very important. So let's look at one. Okay, STAR techniques. What is S in the STAR? S means situations, T task, A actions, then R is result. So let's assume your interviewer, the question the interview asks, tell me a time that you've had to deal with a difficult stakeholder. In your project, can you classify me to be a difficult stakeholder? The project is just completed. Guys, I need you to answer that question, please.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the things that make me to be difficult? Yetunde, Oyin, everyone, what are the things that you think make me to be a difficult stakeholder? Let's come up with something.
Number 1, not being specific with what you needed.
Okay. Not being specific. Yep.
And number
Not
2,
being open to.
Okay. Not being specific. Number 2.
Not being open to. Not being flexible with your.
Not being flexible with my
With
acts.
your
I say I
recommendations.
want this. Yeah. I say I want this, you have to give me. Okay. Let's leave it to these 2. Okay. So the answer is, the question the interviewer now asks me, tell me a time that you've had to deal with a difficult stakeholder. Let's go back to our STAR techniques. Now, before we start using STAR technique, this is not part of the strategy, but it's something I've just added to it and I've been using, and it works for me. And I call it a preamble. So when you ask me, tell me when you've had to deal with a difficult stakeholders, before I start explaining, I like to give a preamble. First thing, I would just say, oh, thank you for answering or for asking me these questions. In my over 5 or 6 years of experience working as a BA, while other BA might see difficult stakeholders, I like to see stakeholders I see these stakeholders as those with a very, very, who are very particular, high intelligence, and who want the best for the project. Preamble, look at what I've done. First of all, I've played on the intelligence of the interviewer to say, hey, the word difficult stakeholder is a wrong statement. I don't see them to be difficult. Rather, I see these stakeholders are those with that they want the best for the project. And my job as a business analyst is to have a strategy to deal with them for everybody to get the best out of that project. Preamble, I said. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So I will go further. Thank you. Now, I'll tell you how coming up with this kind of stakeholders are things that I always encountered on a regular basis. And I'll tell you an instance. Then you start with situations. In my current role or in my previous role, what is that situation? I was faced with situations to manage a stakeholder that, number one, will always not be specific with his or her requirements. Yetunde, that was what made me to be a difficult stakeholder. So you face with the situations to manage a stakeholder that will not always be specific with his or her requirements. Also, he will also not be flexible with any requirement that she requested or that was part of the requirements gathering. That is the situation. Any questions about that? I'm going to take silent as no. Okay, so we're done with situation now. Then you move to the next one, task. What were your tasks as at that time? My task was to make sure that this stakeholder, you convert these stakeholders into an allies that help you to complete your project within time frame. Okay, the situation was that you're meant to manage with me, because of what? I will not be specific because I'm not always flexible with my requirements. Your task was to make sure that you socialize, collaborate with me to convert me from difficult stakeholders into a well-manageable allies that help you to complete your project within time. Are we clear? Yes or no, guys?
No. What if they ask how? How did you go about the conversion?
I've not finished. Okay. We've done situations, the situation was you're meant to engage with me, a difficult stakeholder that will not always be specific and not always flexible. Your action was to convert me, to socialize with me, engage, collaborate with me, to convert me from being a difficult stakeholder to a well-manageable and supportive stakeholders that allow you to complete your project within time frame. Task. Then actions. What were the action you did to achieve your task? So from what we've done, what will you say your actions were? Okay. So to achieve this task, the first thing I did was to do what? Stakeholder analysis and management, where you identified these stakeholders on the basis of what? Priority, on the basis of what? Power and interest. And once you identify that the stakeholder has very high interest and high power, you devise a strategy. Going back to stakeholder management, you devise strategy to what? To manage the stakeholder. And what strategy? Number one, you always have a regular catch-up or meeting with the stakeholders. Are better. Clarified any issues that you're not clear, to make sure that you understood what I was asking for. Also, where flexibility is required, you ask for extension. Where you needed to extend because you could not get something done, you ask for extension. Are we clear about that?
Yes.
You know I don't like us to be silent. I don't know if you are getting it or not. What should I do?
We are getting it.
So we've listed action that you use to do what? To manage, to convert me. Number one, you did your stakeholder management to identify my interest and my power. Once you understood that I have high interest and high power, you devise strategy on how to manage me by having, number one, regular meeting with me to understand my needs, by clarifying requirements so that you are getting your requirements right without missing anything. Second. Thirdly, where there is need to ask for an extension, if you are unable to complete something, what do you normally do? You request for a written extension. Then the last one, results. When you took these actions, what happened? Once the above action were taken, I and the stakeholders became very close. She was supportive of the project, or he was supportive of the project, and they were able to complete the project within timeline to the stakeholder satisfaction. Any questions about STAR techniques?
No.
I have a question, please.
Okay.
From your experience, has there been any situation where an extension was requested and a particular stakeholder says no to it, maybe due to the financial impact or anything?
Yes, of course.
So how do we manage such situation?
Number one, it's not your job to manage to request for an extension. It is the project manager job. Okay. But if that happens, I'm going to ask you the same question. How will you manage that situation? An extension happens. So what will you do? Are you not meant to go and, oh, you have 10 things you need to deliver. Your project will be finishing in a month. You are requesting for additional 1 month, but it has been rejected. How will you deal with it? And you know that you cannot finish that 10 things within a month that you have left. What will you do? I'm asking you as a BA.
You use the Moscow prioritization.
Thank you. You use Moscow prioritization to prioritize. Okay, we can't finish this 10. No, let's focus on the one that are of high value to the business. Then you focus on it. Maybe it is 4. Those are the 4 you do. So let's assume what you've just said now, a question comes to say, hey, as a business analyst, how have you added values to your project? Give me, what will be your questions or what will be your response? From what we've just discussed now, using Moscow. Thank you. Preamble first. Thank you so much. In my in my previous role or as a business analyst, one thing I take high value of is adding value to my project or to my team. Just praise yourself to me, let them know. When you say that, they will nod. Okay, now in my last role or in my current role, situation you face, we were given a requirement, 10 requirements to complete within 6 weeks. And after 2 weeks, it was very clear that you will not be able to complete those 10 requirements in that 6 weeks. As a result, your project manager requested for additional 2 weeks for you to be able to complete the 10 requirements. Situation. What was the task? Your task was to make sure that these 10 requirements, you prioritize them on the basis of business value. That was your task, so that you focus on only requirements that have high value to the business. Then action. What action did you take? In prioritizing these requirements, first and foremost, you organize a call with the business to understand the value, the urgency, the business value of each of those 10 requirements. And based on that, you use Moscow prioritization to do what? To prioritize using must have, should have, and could have. And at the end of it, you realize you classified 4 out of 10 requirements to be a must. And the team focused on those 4 requirements. You also communicated to the business to say, hey, based on this, we are only going to focus on the 4 requirements which are of high value to you, so that we make sure that we complete everything. If the time permits, we will move to other requirements. And the actions, you were able to complete the 4 requirements with a must, additional 2 that are should within the 6 weeks time frame. That'll be Guys, no one is talking. It's in there. What's happening?
Well understood.
Yeah,
We're quiet.
we are getting it. Yeah.
You see, all what we've done now, when I was talking about Moscow, you can make sense out of it in your analysis, in your interview. You remember there was a times in the middle of you writing, I don't know, maybe it was sprint 1 or 2, that I asked you to add additional requirements for me. Do you all remember that?
Yes, the chatbot.
So let's assume, yes, chatbot. Let's assume the interviewer now asks you these questions. Hey, tell me how you've managed the stakeholder or how you've managed a change, a request, how you have managed a request from stakeholders to add another requirement at the middle of the implementations. What would be your response? Can someone try using STAR techniques?
Yeah, so I think you definitely maybe you have to utilize the Moscow prioritization and focusing on the most do, you do, and then come back to could do as much as possible.
Yeah, but I want you to use STAR techniques, guys.
So as a team, what we did was to acknowledge the stakeholder for adding the requirement, and then we came together as a team, and then we checked how important it is based on using our Moscow prioritization, and then we analyzed the time it's going to take for us to include the requirements in our already ongoing requirement analysis. We came to conclusion that it's going to require more time, so we had to schedule a meeting with the stakeholder and discuss what we came up with our analysis, and we were able to convince the stakeholder, and the stakeholder understood that it's just a requirement, that it's good, it's not on a high priority, and he agreed for us to remove it for us to be able to complete our project.
Absolutely. So I want you to now reframe it using STAR techniques. You can do it, Yetunde. You can do it. Situations. What was the situation?
So the situation was a stakeholder.
No, I need you to start with the preamble. Okay, give me the preamble. Give me a preamble, sorry.
All right.
What preamble we use there?
Yeah, that was a good question, because as a stakeholder, for a stakeholder to have added a requirement, I don't see it as a challenging. Rather, I see it as a stakeholder that wants the best for the project. That wants the project to come out with high quality, and that must have escaped their mind from the onset of the requirement. So it was always a welcoming thing for me as a BA to always have a problem. When I see a problem, that is when I'm happy as a BA. So
yeah, go ahead. So that's it. I've gotten, you're right. Okay, just don't labor too much. All I want you to do is just to set the tone. Oh, thank you so much for that. A very good question. You don't see now that's adding or adding a new requirement at the middle of these things is something you don't see as a problem because it is part of Agile's recommendations. Agile asks us to what? To adapt to changes. Okay, just say something to set the stone on. Okay, that's good. Situation then. So move ahead with the situation.
So with the situation, so the situation was the stakeholder added a new requirement which the stakeholder perceived to be of high importance to him. And then we were able to, we accepted it and then came together as a team to realize that, okay, we have a situation at hand. We need to see if we can, if it's a requirement that can be met. And then, and when we did was to prioritize it. And
No, don't mingle things. Situations. The situation was that the stakeholder added a new requirement. Okay.
Yes.
At the middle of the project. Okay, that was the situation. Then the task. The task was, as a business analyst, you are meant to analyze the requirements to see the visibility if it is what you can accommodate. Okay, if it is what you can accommodate, or if you need to renegotiate with the stakeholder, which was what you guys did. Clear?
Yes.
Now, we're moving to the third component, the action you did. What did you guys did? You met in your meeting, so the team met to understand the requirements. You also gave them the analysis in terms of the time and effort it will require to complete that requirement.
And the cost.
And the cost. You understood that it will take additional 2 weeks, which will take you beyond the time frame that you currently have. Then you communicated that to me, to the stakeholder, to say, oh, if we are to accommodate this, it will take this amount, it will take this time. Then, based on that, I now said, oh, don't worry, because the value is not of that high importance to me. And what was the result? You and me, we came to an agreement that we don't longer, or we should not accommodate that requirement because it's not of high value to spend additional money and time frame. Simple. Any questions? We've done about 3 examples now. Any questions again? Let's do the last one. How have you added value to a project team? What can you think? Or your team, give me how you think you've added value to your team. So I'm waiting.
trying to put them together.
Yeah. Think of how you think you've added. On top of me, I can think of 2 now.
Oh,
Yes. I appreciate your question. One of my great assets is as a business analyst is to add great value to any team I work with. At my previous role, when I was working with the Help Center project, there were a number of times we had difficulties meeting with the stakeholder during our workshop activities. And I was very persistent with organizing the time that is convenient for them, working one-on-one with the stakeholder to get their suitable time and the team as a whole. And we were able to communicate effectively, which brought about a successful project in total.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love the way you are fluent, you add things up together. It just, okay, situations. There was issue, you needed to communicate and get a suitable time. Okay, the task, you are meant to work with that to look at the suitable time for the stakeholders and for your team. You met with the stakeholder one-on-one to get on to understand their schedule. Once you understood that, you set up a meeting. You added an agenda to the meeting for clarity's sake, and that brought about a better collaboration between your team and the stakeholders, which allowed the stakeholders to put more effort and give you input, understanding collaboration in a way that help you to achieve a better things within your project. Simple. Okay, so what you need to do, these 6 questions, think of a difficult stakeholders, put it together. The situation, the task, the actions, the results. Now starts. You see, the way I'm going about it, I don't just get there overnight. This man that I showed you, this man, where is that guy? Where is that guy? This guy, I remember, where is he? When he just started late last year, that guy, he will call in a week, we'll spend like 2 hours together. My boss, and these things, is this the best way I can put it? I just want to re-ask this, and that's the best way to go. I don't encourage you memorizing, but if you have to do it, do it. Okay, there is these 6 questions. It should be on top of your head. If they ask you difficult stakeholders, conflicting priority, difficult situations, ensure you capture right requirement from your stakeholders. If you are to do this, how do you capture right requirements? Once you capture the requirements, you convert into what? High-level requirements. When you converted into high-level requirements, what do? Don't you present it to me to make sure that you have an alignment, that what you've captured was exactly the same thing I wanted? Something like that. If you're able to master these 6, there is no way out of these 6, I can vouch that you get 4 questions from these 6. And if, for instance, you can reuse it to any situation you find yourself. Before I go, another thing, the first question they will ask you in interview is, please, they will ask you, can you tell us about yourself, or can we meet you? so often will tell us them, oh, my name is this, they already know who your name is. That's a perfect opportunity for you to sell yourself. And the way I approach that question is this. Okay? If I know before the interview, definitely they will, if anyone call you for an interview, let them to send you job descriptions. That's allowed. When, let's say this is the job descriptions, and part of it is ability to negotiate, consult, facilitate product effective written and oral communication, complex agile project environment, working with product manager, product owner, and delivery teams. This is it. When they ask me, can you tell us about yourself? Thank you so much. I am this. I have over 5 years of experience working as a business analyst. In my previous roles, I've had the opportunity to work with delivery teams. I also work directly with my product owner in an agile project environment. What are you saying? You've captured one of their main requirements there. They think, they know, okay, this is the right person. This is likely to be the right person because he has worked in what we're looking for. Also, I also lead backlog refinement to ensure user stories are aligned with definition of ready and done requirements. I've just make sure it's part of it. So look at what I'm saying. I'm not talking about my personal persons. I am giving them back to back what they are looking for, that is in their essential. Let's spend the next 5-6 minutes to answer any questions.
Sorry, please, in writing cover letter, do we always need to edit it based on what the company requires?
I will say that. Okay. To write a cover letter, there's one software that I used to write. I've forgotten that. Oh. Use this template to write a cover letter. Okay, use this. Okay, so this. Now, the thing why I like this is if you look at it, So then just populate it. Now it's all what you just need to do. Please add some key requirements. So if you are applying for this job now, you're applying for this job, I'm just going to come here. The requirements that you've added here, that your friend ChatGPT has given you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's provide sound. It's going to say maybe just take one of these things here. Be able to negotiate. Okay. Add it here. Business targets, attainment of key business targets, this. Just do it here. Add it. Then what other skills? Just go and look for one or two other skills that they've asked you to do. CRM, case management, agile. Okay, I'm just going to go there and say capable and 65. So all this one you don't need critical thinking. So I have extensive experience in CRM, case management system, waterfall, agile, and Scrum, as well as very adept, I don't know, as in this, okay, that you require this. Then add your name. Go and put it. You put it as part of your. You will be here in your profile. Okay. Nice. I do know. Where's your Okay, so yeah, you get under security. Okay, so this is where you get it. So if I just copy this because I don't want to be, I would rather you can see you can upload it. If you want to upload cover letter, you can upload the one you've just done, but I just like to write it because it's easier for me if I write it there. I can come here and just change anything that I need to change. Okay, so that's it. Does that answer your questions? Any question, guys?
None from my end. Thank you.
Okay, guys. If you have anything, just let me know. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, KB.
No worries. Thanks for attending. I'm having a headache. I need to.
Thank you so much, KB.
Yeah. Rest well. Thank you very much.
Yetunde.
Good luck. Good luck, team. Go and
Yetunde.
come back with your testimony.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'll put the record in so that before you go for interview, listen to it again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Good luck. Oi.
Yetunde always check on me, okay?
Sure. I wanted to ask KB. Okay, it's okay. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oi. Good luck.
Yeah.
When next I'll call you now. I know you will tell me that I've gotten the job already.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Thank you,
Good
guys.
luck, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.